All right, we're live.
שבוע טוב לכולם.
Shavua tov, Shavua tov. And to you too.
How was how was your Shabbos?
Oh, I had a great Shabbos. I think I ate more this Shabbos than I have in weeks. But I'm
Why?
feeling
What happened?
Say?
Why? What happened that you eat more than usual?
We had a friend. I had a friend over for lunch, so I actually had to make it.
Ah, I see. Yeah, I see.
So so
Isn't it the longest Shabbos, the shortest Shabbos this week? Do you know by any?
it's well, no, it's always the same. It's the same length. It's always the same the same time, but
Yeah, I mean,
it's one of the earliest. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Right. I know. It was like we started like 3:40 or something. We started really early.
Oh, yeah, true. Yeah, it's actually really early.
But that just means that, right, Motzei Shabbat, Saturday night, it's like you have the whole day. Like now, no, I'm just about to take my nap now.
Actually, it's a good idea. I should also take a nap afterwards.
Hey, take a nap and wake up for dinner, and then start your night. No, but today's an interesting day on the Jewish calendar. Um, it's a not so well known holiday.
Oui, okay.
Right, we think there's all this Hanukkah talk coming up, which is important, and we'll get to that. But today, it was the 19th of Kislev, of Yud Tet Kislev, and it's a niche holiday celebrated by Hasidim, and it's even sometimes called the Rosh Hashanah for Hasidim, because of two things. One is that um, the Magid of Mezrich, or Dober of Mezrich, today is his Yortzeit. So that happened today. And also in 1798, the Alter Rebbe of Chabad, the first Rebbe of Chabad, was released from prison. So that became sort of like a key day in the holiday. Of like from that day on, from Yud Tet Kislev in 1798, that's when like the Hasidim really really started taking their work seriously and spreading it around. So today today was that day on the calendar. Very very little not so well known holiday, but
But
maybe
important.
so you say an extra Dvar Torah, whatever, for the Hasidim. It would have been good to have Dvar Torah from Chabad or from the Magid of Mezrich, but I have a different thought that I was thinking about. And actually, I wanted to ask you. I mean, so today in the parsha that we read this week, there's this big scene between Yaakov and Esav, between Jacob and Esau. After years and years, 20 years of being apart, all of a sudden they're coming back together. And I wanted to ask, like, if you like, what do you think the emotions are, of this for this reunion, right? After it's been so long, they haven't seen each other since like the big deception, where Yaakov, but with the birthright. So what do you think would
Mm-hmm.
how are you envisioning this scene play out if you had to do it like a in a theater show?
So of course, because if it would be in a theater, I think it would be like very, very dramatic and very ongoing. Like the moment is about to come. People can't wait to see the reunion, but it takes more and more seconds, so we can catch the people. That would be my thought of how to do it in a theater. But I guess the moment itself was very emotional. Like when you see a person for a long time, especially in times like these, like back in the times when you didn't have any smartphone or something that you can contact your persons, your people.
Right.
Must be very emotional, but on the other hand, must be very weird also, because you didn't see that person for such a long time, like didn't have any contact.
Right.
Like you really don't know what's been happening.
Exactly. Yeah, and I think that's part of why Jacob is so scared, is because he doesn't know how his brother will react to seeing him. Right? Last time they saw each other, Esav swore to kill him.
Yeah.
Right? And he said like, "Oh, as soon as my father dies, I'm going after him." So yeah, so I think there's a lot of fear on Jacob's side, and and this is also the parsha where he fights the angel, where he wrestles with the angel. And I was reading some stuff that maybe the angel is this, this representation of his fear, and he has to wrestle his fears and beat himself. What this there's a moment there's a moment of meeting, right? So
Mm.
Yaakov comes with his family, right, with his wives and children, and Esav brings 400 people, and they meet, and they're standing face to face, and the pasuk says, and the verse says, right, that Esav ran to greet him, he embraced him, and he falls on his neck and kisses him, and they weep together. So it's interesting, right?
Oh,
So there's this moment of, okay, right, like this is climax, and so they run to each other, right? And Esav hugs him and kisses him, and they cry together. But what's interesting about this verse is that there are, in the Torah itself, right? Usually the Torah just has the letters, right? No punctuation, no periods, no nothing. On this
yeah.
verse, there are dots over the word for kissing him. So let me just share my screen for a second just to show you. Oh well, I can show
Wait,
you.
I have to enable. Wait.
So I'll show in a second, but there are dots over the word for kissing him, and that's something that is fairly rare. Only about 10 times in the whole Torah. Um,
Now you can share the screen.
so let me just briefly show for a second. Right here, this word vayishakehu, right, and he kissed him. There are dots over that word. So it's interesting, right? What are we supposed to make of that? First of all, what is the function of these dots? So the dots, it's a type of commentary written into the text, right? It's sort of saying what this word is. We're like winking at you a little bit and saying that there's more to this word than just the plain word. Sort of like a super commentary. And the way I always think about it is that there's an idea that Torah is written as black fire on white fire, right? And so this is like a commentary written into that white space, into that white fire, in between the lines. Or that there's another story that God tells Moses that every crown on the letters and every space in the Torah will be interpreted. And so this is exactly one of those moments. And the question is, like, what do you do? Like, what is it doing here? And so the midrash takes these dots and says, listen, there are a couple ways we could read this story, and that's what the dots are telling us, right? Do we take it at face value, right, that Esav kissed him, like really did kiss him, or it's saying like, oh, like he's not seriously kissing him, right? The dots tell us to read it ironically, that he tried to bite him. Right? Like you shouldn't. It's like he kissed him, but that he was really trying to bite him and kill him that way. And so that's what the midrash in Pirkei Rabbi Eliezer has. That because they want to read the character of Esav as wicked, right? They say like there's no way Esav could have forgiven Yaakov after all these years. He's still carrying all of this hate. So even though it says Vayishakehu and he kissed him, you probably should read it Vayashkehu and he bit him. And Esav began to cry because he was upset that he didn't succeed. So that's one option. Or, and the last option is, it's obvious that you would think that there was no way Esav kissed him, right? You would assume that he's wicked, so that the verb is ironic, and the dots come to tell you that no, it's actually serious, it's genuine. And you have this game of back and forth in the text itself, this tug of war between readings that that is built into the very writing of the Torah. Right? These aren't just midrashim, that we talk about in the air. This is in the writing. And what I love about it is that it blurs the lines between the written Torah and the oral Torah. Right? There's no such thing as just the written Torah, just the words on the page. That inherently in the writing is an invitation for midrash. In the white spaces between the black spaces, the white fire and the black fire, there's an invitation and there's an opportunity for machloket, right? Which Esav is the right Esav? How are we reading this character? Do we read it in its plain meaning, or in the hinted meaning, or against the hinted meaning back into the plain meaning? Meaning, like, that's the essence of Torah. Like this kind of is questioning is inseparable from the transmission of Torah. And so I think for us, like in every generation, right, we get to add ourselves into that conversation, to receive it, to comment on it, and to make ourselves part of this train of transmission.
Wow, very interesting.
So
yeah,
right. I mean, and these are traditions from the scribes, right? These are very old traditions of how we write a Torah, and
which sometimes sounds like rocket science.
say that again.
Which sometimes sounds like rocket science in Torah, because
Exactly.
if you make one little mistake of 1 millimeter, it's all crap.
And that's it. And you have to start over.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. All right, let's do some Havdallah.
Thank you for these interesting words, Avi.
My pleasure. I know, I was thinking about it all day. Yeah, more to say. Never enough.
More to say, and more to think, and more to act. Okay, are we starting?
Yes. Hine el Yeshuati Eftach lelo Efcha Ki ozi ve'azivat Adonai Vayehi Yeshua Ushavtem Ayin Besaso Mimayne Yeshua Ladonai Yeshua Tachasela Adonai Tzevaot Imanu Miskavlanu Eloi Yaakov Selah Adonai Tzevaot Adonai Yoshia Melech Ora Vesimcha Vesason Mika Ketiyelanu Kos Yeshuot Esav V'Shem Adonai Echad. Yai nai na 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 nai 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 na 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 nai nai na 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 nai nai na 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 nai na 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 nai Baruch atah Adonai melech haolam borei agafem. Yai nai na 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 nai 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 na 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 nai nai na 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 Baruch atah Adonai melech haolam borei v'samim. Yai nai na 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 nai nai na 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 nai Baruch atah Adonai melech haolam Baruch atah
Adonai Elohim
melech
העולם
ben
המבדיל בין קודש
Eino
לחול
lechoshem Ben Yisrael
ישראל
Ben
עמים
Yom
בין יום השביעי ששת ימי המעשה ברוך אתה אדוני המבדיל בין קודש לחול
Shavua Tov.
שבוע טוב לכולם, שבוע טוב to our friends from BaseBerlin, שבוע טוב.
Shavua Tov. And next week, so everyone should get ready for a wonderful week, and we're welcoming in Hanukkah next week.
Exactly, as a Hanukkah special.
So lots of stuff going on, including next Saturday night. We'll be right back here together with EUJS, lighting candles.
Lighting candles, eating sufganiyot, telling jokes. It will be a funny one.
Amazing. So I can't wait to see you and everyone else all together next week.
It's for me. Love everyone.
Yes.
Goodbye.